What's your idea of a night out? How does it begin? Where do you go? And how does it end? That's if you can remember that part. Nowadays, the night's events can be instantly captured and shared, revealing some of the best and most embarrassing times. While nightlife and youth culture have been synonymous for decades, the footage captured did not always tell the full story. The period between 1945 and 1975 witnessed a considerable amount of political and social change. Youth culture in particular was changing, with it seeing the rise of the teenager. The era saw young men and women being able to spend an evening dancing and drinking away from the prying eyes of their parents. Hampshire in particular was home to many men in uniform.
In this footage from 1956, girls can be seen dancing with British-Russian sailors based with the Royal Navy in Portsmouth. Produced by Pathe News, it lacks narration and was never issued to cinemas. Mostly filmed in the ballroom, it shows the sailors relaxing and being able to socialise with women, taking away from the tensions that existed outside the ballroom. Looking closely, a few officers can be spotted alongside some junior ratings, the lowest level in the British Royal Navy, demonstrating that despite formalities outside the ballroom, this was a place where rankings didn't exist and that everyone was there just to have a good time. The uniforms, though, are a reminder of the outside world and the formality of this event, alongside the fashion trends of the 1950s.
Film gives us a unique angle into the past. Unlike a written account, we can see the setting, and unlike a photograph, we can analyse people's movement and body language. Film creates a more personal experience. However, much of the footage preserved in the archives is the work of professional filmmakers. Pathe and other newsreel companies, as well as the British government, sought to capture important civic moments because they saw it as the essence of contemporary society.
Southampton honours the GIs when the 14th Major Port of the Transportation Corps were granted the right to make a ceremonial march through the town. The inevitable dog mascot was there, of course, to see the mayor hand over the scroll commemorating the event. A closing chapter in the history of an organisation that embarked 2 million men from Southampton to the continent between D-Day and VE Day. And now, with full honours, the march begins. Bayonets fixed, drums beating and colours flying. Saxon capital of England, the youngest citizens led the welcome to the Queen and her husband on the Pilgrim School playing field. At Winchester College, founded over 500 years ago, Her Majesty presented Queen's medals to 3 of the prefects. And she won the cheers of the whole school when she requested that 6 extra days be added to their holiday.
Professional footage was often structured to align with a national perspective, with it showing its set of moral values. Home video cameras for personal use were expensive in this period, therefore leaving it as a primarily white and upper middle class hobby. On the site of this retirement complex used to stand the Savoy buildings, once owned by Billy Butlin, the founder of the Butlins holiday camps. The buildings were a key part of the Southsea seafront from 1929 until the 1980s and 90s, when they became derelict and disused.
The most famous part of the Savoy was its ballroom, a popular dance hall which hosted social events for the Navy, official visits from the Lord Mayor, BBC's Come Dancing, and in time, even the Beatles.
And the fans just couldn't get enough.
When they get inside, they find two boxes, one for the first house, one for the second house. And each teenager is being asked, which one do you want? Most of them are saying both. Now that's true devotion to the Beatles.
We had the best price tickets. We were in the third row from the front and they cost 10 and 6pence. There was a lot of screaming and we just couldn't believe it really that we were there. As young people, we had something of our own for the first time. You know, what did our parents have? They had the war, we had youth culture. It was fantastic.
The building's use reached its peak in the early 60s as trends overlapped. Dr. James Knott has studied the rise and fall of dance culture and leisure in Britain, particularly focusing on the impact it had on the lives of working and lower middle class communities across the UK.
Many couples were able to meet at the dance halls. Knott has argued that they were vital to the expanding experiences of young people in the 1960s, as they were a safe and ordered space where first encounters with people their own age could occur. In 1959, Alan, who was 19 at the time, spotted Molly, who was 20 at the time, across the dance floor in the Savoy ballroom. Alan recalls knowing that she was the one for him, as they celebrate their 60-year diamond wedding anniversary in 2021.
It was amazing. I saw her across the room. The band had just finished playing a song and I crossed the ballroom while it was quiet. I thought in my head how embarrassing this would be if she said no, but thankfully she said yes.
Sam and Rita also celebrated their 60-year diamond wedding anniversary in 2020 after meeting in the Savoy ballroom. Sam served in the Royal Navy from 1956.
When I came back in 1959, the go-to thing for young people in those days was dancing, so we did. Back in Portsmouth, I was dancing with this lovely girl, talking about my motorbike and that I needed insurance. I could have bit my tongue off because who wants to hear about that?
Personal events are unlikely to have been captured as still images, so they are even less likely to be found as film footage. This leaves videos that are professional and generalised as our primary glimpse into the lived experiences. These are vast and valuable primary sources for looking at politicians, celebrities and royals, but they are considerably limited when applied directly to the lives of ordinary people. There is a lot more to be said about what is not there rather than what is.
Dancing, ballrooms, pubs, clubs and concerts, leisure in the 20th century became less formal over time. This was heavily down to the fact that class culture was also changing. Although the working classes, where most of the popular culture originated from, they are the group least likely to be represented in the hobby of filmmaking. What we have now in the archives is primarily the work of middle-class white men. They would often capture their families and friends. Due to this, the dance hall, which was a wide social phenomenon, has been left unrepresented. So when you're on your next night out, seeing your favourite band, meeting your friends, or will you meet the love of your life? I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Double penny whistle trick.